Odd meter music can be daunting for a lot of people because it's associated with difficult music. But today, I want you to introduce you to my friends in Cobbs the Band, a Brooklyn-based fusion project whose new EP, First Attempt, is a masterclass on how to play odd meters while still grooving hard. I know this one is a little longer than my typical lesson videos, but I think you'll really enjoy this whole conversation. Check them out on YouTube, Instagram, and Bandcamp, or on your favorite streaming service.
I'm Omri Bargiora, and I play guitar in the band.
I'm Julia Chen, and I play piano and keyboards.
I'm Ben Freitkin, I play drums.
Well, specifically with this song, it came out when Ben and I were jamming together. And so I'm not really sure. I think the first thing that came up was that melody. Like da ti ti da ti ti pi dum. And I think we were sort of jamming on that. I believe that those descending chords at the end, it's sort of a blues form if you think about it, this song, right? Because you have
Super
4
bluesy,
bars.
Yeah.
It's a 12-bar sort of blues form. So the melody came up, and actually I had to go back and be like, what time are we playing? And I think Ben was the one to be like, yeah, I think we're playing in 11. And then we started to mess with, I think, playing the 4 backbeat on it to see what happens together.
So Ben's basically playing in 4, and it lines up every 2 big measures.
It lines up every four measures, actually.
Every 4 measures of...
Yeah, after 2 measures, it reversed, so it's like the snare is on the big one.
Ah, right.
So it takes the whole four measures to resolve.
So as we can see here, the drummer is playing in 4/4, just a simple backbeat, while the rest of the band is still in 11/4. So as Ben said, we don't line up on the downbeats. It actually takes 4 full measures for the kick to line up with the beginning of the riff again. After 2 measures, the snare plays on the downbeat, but on the in-between measures, measures 2 and measures 4 of this cycle, the riff is going to start while the drummer is actually in between the kick and the snare. So it gives it this very cool offbeat feeling while the groove still feels like it's in 4. Who are your influences when it comes to specifically music that's in odd meters?
It's a great question. Every odd meter tune that I ever wrote sort of came out by accident. I never decided that I wanted to write in odd meters. And I think that's the only reason I was able to write a tune that feels natural, is because it came out in a natural way. And especially with this one, was actually already with the drum parts was happening. I can also mention Mahavishnu Orchestra that Ben got me familiar with. They have unbelievable music happening in all sorts of different odd meters. And then some stuff by Aaron Parks that I sort of was like Nemesis, that's how I learned to play in 7. Avishai Cohen, the bass player.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about, I was trying to think of what the first thing that I heard where odd meters really were like mind-blowing for me, and it was his record, Gently Disturbed, the 2008 record, which I heard in school, and that was when I was like, I gotta learn to play music like this. Still working on it, but I think I always think of odd meters music, we try not to think of it as like a whole different beast. Like if you make it feel like something else, then it's kind of scary. Like for a lot of cultures around the world, this is folk music, this is stuff people grow up with. It's just we in the United States in particular, we pretty much only hear music in 4 and a little bit of 3, and anything else is kind of like weird. So
yeah, the Balkans are doing like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, Balkan music. I reviewed a record from this band EYOT from Serbia last year, and they've got tracks where it's like 9 9 5 6 5 or something like, and you don't know it, like it just sounds groovy. And that's another thing is that I wanted to bring up is there's kind of odd meter music that sounds where you make it sound hard, and that's what people are into. And there's odd meter music where you make it sound easy. And I think this track you guys made is where it sounds easy. You don't feel like, oh, what are they doing? What's going on? Like you don't even notice. If you just put this on at a party, people wouldn't be like, what's going on with this weird odd meter blues? It just sounds super groovy.
So I definitely like if there is a piece that you like and you just play it, but not from a sense of I gotta learn this odd meter stuff.
Yeah.
I just like this, so I want to play it like any other piece of music. Then you make the connection from a much more organic place. I would say
The concept that I was using there, it also happens in the beginning of my drum solo, which is basically to play a group of beats. In this case, it was 4, but in my drum solo, then it was 3, and then it was 2. So just playing, accenting groups of beats that is not, of the meter that we are playing. And then it creates some contrasts like that. That's a way to create an over the bar line effect. I love doing those things where it's like it's pretty clear. It's just I'm just playing quarter notes actually, and it's like the same grouping all the time, 3 or 2 or 4.
Yeah.
But and it has a downbeat, like a backbeat effect, which is like danceable and fun. But because it's a grouping that's not the original meter, so it creates this over the bar line effect, and then it's like. I don't know, like as a kid, when drummers used to do that, I was really always when I practice these things, I do count the 11 and I just play over it 3s. So like
okay.
I don't know, for example, like 1 2 3 4 1. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 4 3 4 we're doing. So it's like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So I'm like counting the 11 but clapping 3s. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
like
So then and it's easy way to
yeah,
practice
and then
without
I
your
just know how
instrument.
to do it, so I don't need to count anymore. So when it happens in real life, I can count in my head or feel like I don't need to count anymore. I can feel it. But basically, the original stage is to count.
Yeah, I wanted to play a little bit of the trading section, and maybe just you guys can talk a little bit about phrasing, or some of the musical elements that went into this guitar and piano trading. Yeah, so for me, I mean, I'm not even hearing the beats and measures anymore. I'm really just hearing like the flow of ideas is really clear.
I was just praying. There was no counting from me. I'm just like, please, please let this please work out.
Come on, you take too much credit off yourself.
Well, maybe I just have good intuition, but
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, you practice enough that it becomes like natural. Whatever you're playing in, it you didn't land in the wrong place, even if you're not counting. That's where everyone wants to get to.
we're like trading. So if the person who's not playing is counting, then they can like start on the right beat, even if the person who is playing kind of lost it. You know what I mean?
Any advice that you have to someone who's like never played any music in odd meters from any of you, like things you use in the practice room, like how you got to where you're feeling comfortable, play with natural phrasing and all your ideas executing?
As far as I'm concerned, so it's pretty. I mean, it's gonna sound cliche, but yeah, listen to a lot of that kind of music. What has been referenced here, like Avishai Cohen and Mahavishnu Orchestra and all those guys. And then as a drummer, for me, really the thing I described earlier, where it's just playing groupings, that really helped me a lot. And that's maybe one of the foundational exercises for me, because if you're not, you have always the natural way of those groups that are inherent in the meter. In this case, it's 4-3-4, right? So that's inherent. So that's everyone will default to that. But if you want to make it more, to be able to express yourself and make it interesting, can do that exercise, and it helps open you up. When I first started playing stuff like that, so sometimes it's like you're really you don't know how to break away from those kinds of inherent patterns. But anyway, so that thing that I described earlier with the groupings, it really helps me to train myself to hear simultaneously the inherent pattern and some other over the bar line patterns.
Yeah, and it feels like unlimited, but really, if you practice starting phrases on all of the different beats, there's not that many options, and they'll all eventually feel comfortable.
I wrote my tune mostly like inspired by a couple Led Zeppelin songs, so they have some really great odd meter stuff. And in rock, there's like just a lot of odd meter stuff. I mean, what's her name? Pink Floyd has some famous ones. Yeah, and a bunch of it, like, you don't really realize is in odd meters until you go back and you're like, wait, what? Or you try to play it or something like that. So if you're looking for sources of odd meters that are not in jazz, there's also plenty.
As far as you can listen to music that you like, I think is obviously the best way. Listening and playing. Like I said, I learned how to play in 7 because I love Nemesis by Aaron Parks. I played that for an entire year. I just sat and played it, and my goal was not to be really good at 7. My goal was just to enjoy this piece of music. Without meaning to, I got really comfortable playing 7. And I would say, so that would be something. And I would say, as far as playing over the bar line, I always found that the patterns you have, because everybody, I think all of us have some aspect of pattern playing in our playing, muscle memory, or things that come from the fingers. And obviously it's a dance and you want to play things that you're hearing, but obviously what you're hearing may also be influenced by what your fingers feel comfortable doing. And so a lot of the phrasings that you have going into playing odd meters are very much so based in 4/4. And so if you play a phrase that sits on 4/4 and you imply it on an odd meter, you'll find yourself playing over the bar line. To me, it was almost like a cheat thing. And definitely, like, if you take a standard and you put it in odd meter, like all the things you are, and you take it to dee dee da dee da da, play it in 7, but then you have crazy muscle memory on all the things you are. Maybe if you were a student of jazz, not necessarily for everyone, but then the phrasings you're gonna play, maybe you don't even mean to, they're gonna be for me, it was harder to actually play in 7 and be true to the actual subdivision at first. Yeah, because my fingers wanted to just play 4. So now I maybe hopefully could do both a little better and more intentionally. But that's a great cheat, I think.
Yeah, when I first started trying to play standards, like taking standards that are in 4 and putting them into 5 or 7, I found that a good stepping stone was first put them in 3, so that you get, you're making the changes with the 3 beat part of the subdivision. So when you end up with the 4+3 or 3+4 or 3+2 that you end up having in the 5 or 7 or 11 or whatever it is, you sort of have some more intuition about where those 3 beat phrases land. All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Julian.
Thank you.
Hey. Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Interested in our music.
I hope everyone enjoyed that conversation. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and hit me in the comments with any questions or other videos you'd like to see. And check out Cobbs on Instagram, YouTube, and their new EP, First Attempt, on Bandcamp or your favorite streaming service. Till next time.